Alright, what is going on guys, HC Jammers here, back with another Street Fighter 5 video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing yet again another matchup knowledge video. See, be more consistent with these, you guys should be happy. But yeah, we're going to be moving back to our ostentatious Ice Queen Kolin and covering a different aspect of the matchup, because before I have done a video covering something regarding the Kolin matchup, which I'll leave the video link to that in the description below for you guys to go and check out. But like I said, it's going to be a different aspect of the matchup, and more specifically how her frost touch, her counter move, can be a hindrance to R.Mika and her offensive gameplay. So without further ado, let me just jump straight in and make sure I'm all good to go. Yes, we are good to go. So like I said, we're going to be looking at her counter, her parry, frost touch. Why is it detrimental, and why does it deter Mika in the matchup from going full-blown ham, because that's what R.Mika players love to do. But first and foremost, let us go over the basics, the rudimentary stuff. What does frost touch look like? So I'm just going to nab a recording slot and do it from here. Not playback, we're going to get recording and do it from here. So this should be like standard information. Everyone needs to know this stuff by now already, but if you don't know, frost touch, the counter has 3 variants to it, 3 variations. So it's got a low version which parries low attacks. You seldom see this version, but it's very good when it connects. And there's a mid version which this covers. The majority of Street Fighter 5, the majority of attacks in Street Fighter 5 are actually mids. So that's why you'll see the mid version the most out of all of her versions, and that's what we're going to be looking at mainly in this matchup today. And you got the high version as well, which covers airborne attacks, jump-ins, aerial attacks, whatever you want to call it. It covers high attacks like that. So what we are going to do is just give you a little quick example. So we're going to do that and then get the counter rolling, just so you guys know what it does. So I'm going to do a drop kick and it should counter. There you go. So that's the EX version, which we will be looking at. That's the one you'll really see in matchups. But yeah, when it lands, Kolin inflicts 240 damage, gets a setup. The counter is 1 frame startup, so it's quick, reliable. I believe it's active for like 10 frames, 11 frames, don't quote me on that. But however, if the counter does flop, Kolin will be left in a counter hit state. So most of the time you'll be seeing Kolin get crush countered by an attack if someone baits it correctly or they guess wrong when they're doing it, because there's 3 variants and an EX version. The EX versions of each variant do not cover all 3. They are all the counters are commitments, and that's one thing that everyone thought that Kolin would get at some point, where EX version would cover all 3. Nope, they're commitments. She's got to guess which version or which attack variant the opponent is going for. So moving on, why is it detrimental? Why is it such a deterrent in the matchup for R.Mika jammers? So with R.Mika, by now everyone should know that the majority of her setups and her attacks are mids, and if they're not that, they are throws. So the reason that it's a big deterrent is situations where Mika forces a mix-up or wants to force a mix-up or get something really going. The frost touch mid version comes into play, and if it does land, Kolin earns an abundance of damage, and she side switches as well, which we will get onto the side switch shortly in this video. So let me showcase some examples. So let's get, I'm hoping I've got it on here. I'm going to set it to back recovery, and I'm hoping it is this one. Let us double check. That is the low version. We will go onto that shortly. So I'm guessing this one is the high version. Yes, it is. So I'm going to do a basic setup here. A meaty stand medium kick after the shooting peach. And if I do that, it gets countered, right? As you can see, it does 240 damage, side switch. Now Kolin has the position advantage. To show you again, the side switch, the damage, the setup. She gets all of it there. Even if I was to change it to normal recovery, do the meaty setup again, right? It gets it there, side switch, yada. You get the idea, right? If I was to change it up to St.LK kick, bam. You get it there, right? So you're seeing all of this. Even if I was to do, I've got it on normal recovery now. Even if I was to go to meaty crouch light punch after EX shooting peach, the EX frost touch will, oops, when I get it right, I had to dash first, I did dash. When I get it, oops, I don't know why my dash isn't coming out. I pressed the button. You also press the button. Right, there you go. So he gets the frost touch, side switch, etc, etc. So there's a plethora of situations where this is such a hindrance for Mika. I'll even show you some situations on block. I'm hoping it is this one. Are you this one? Yes. So we get basic situation into medium punch, gets the counter. If I do forward fist to stand medium punch, gets the counter. If I do drop kick, stand light kick, gets the counter, as you can see. Right. So we've got it through there. You can see, like I said, there's a multitude of setups where the counter just comes into play, and that can heavily deter Mika in this matchup and go, okay, so the basic psychological thing you do is, okay, a button didn't work, let me throw the counter. Because if you didn't know, again, standard information, the throws will beat the counter. But by doing that, if it's not Brimstone, or it's not to close out the round Rainbow Typhoon, or maybe a back throw or something like that, what you were doing is, I said this in my previous video against the in the urine matchup one, you severely reduce the amount of damage you can inflict on Kolin, which is actually works in Kolin's favor. That's why a lot of Mika players don't like this matchup, and you'll see the EX Frost Touch come into play quite a bit, because Kolin only has to do this once. He only has to do it once for the real guessing game to happen on the wake up. Now, the aspect where it gets annoying, because like I said, you're like, okay, so I just throw the counter, right? It's simple. They go for a counter, and if I knock them down and on their wake up, they're going to go for the counter, or I think that's going to happen, I'm just going to do the throw. Here's where the real mind game comes in, because Kolin has, again, some good options on defense, and I think I've got one here. Let me just... Alright, so she's got the backdash, right? So if I was to go for a jab into throw, she backdashes the throw, and now she's got a window to try and punish the command grab. If I go for a regular throw, it's not that bad. I recover in time, we go back to neutral, but Kolin has way better neutral than Mika, so when she backdashes and resets it and generates enough space for her to work with, it's not that bad, right? In the corner, it's a little bit different, because if I do that, she can throw me back in the corner and then really start her offensive pressure with her mediums, etc, etc. But it becomes a really big problem, because even then, if I was to do maybe, let's see, I think the wake up option I've got here is a backdash. So if I do that, yeah. So if I was to do maybe a, dash up, crouch night punch, I can stop them there, but then I have to think about the counter coming in, right? I have to think about the counter. So if I was to do a throw this time round, okay, the backdash is avoiding the throw. She can neutral jump, she can double jump, because she has the ability to do that. She has various ways to avoid that, and like I said, that's where the real mind game, the real guessing game comes into play. But not only does she have the backdash, she's also got a button. So again, using this scenario here, if I went for a throw thinking the counter's coming, she lands a crouching jab, which that's her 3-frame button, her fastest button. That lands counter hit, then she can combo into a target combo and potentially EX Parabellum and put Rainbow Mika in a perilous situation. So as you can see, you got to think about the jab, the backdash, the counter. The worst case scenario that can happen for Kolin, or sorry, for Mika, is if you go for a regular throw and Kolin does a delayed tech and you guys break out and go back to neutral. That's the worst that can happen, but again, Mika doesn't want to do that. Every time she gets to knock down on her opponents, she wants to land as much damage, gets a meaty throw, meaty button, and send the opponent to the corner. But with that in mind, you got to think about all this stuff happening there. So, like I said, as you can see, there's a real mind game going on between certain things. So, one thing you can do, now if we go back to setting wake up option 4, we're going to do another situation where we're going to do wingless airplane, and we're going to dash up, right? So in this situation, you may see Kolin do a wake up, frost touch, the mid version. What you can do here is you can do a meaty low attack, get a small combo. Again, there's 106 damage, and that is severely less than the amount of damage that Kolin will inflict via her counter. But again, it's a situation where that's the safest thing to do, and you won't put yourself at risk by going for maybe a command throw to close out the round, or regular throw, and then she tries to avoid it, etc, etc. But again, what you're doing here is it's still a risk, because Kolin still has a low variant of the counter. So if the low variant hits, you're in trouble, right? Low variant does 260 damage, 20 more than the other two, because you seldom see this one using the play, because if the Kolin player hits you with a low counter, I think they're in your head. I actually think a Kolin player is in your head when they hit you with this low counter in this matchup. So again, you've got to mix up your options. Sometimes the throw will work. You've really got to mix up your options. So essentially this matchup is rolling the dice the entire time. But as I said before, to regurgitate, all Kolin has to do is land one of these counters in a really weird situation for you, and for the remainder of the round, you as a Mika player is going to be thinking, when he's in a counter, is he gonna risk it here? Is he gonna wake up button? He's gonna backdash? He's gonna jump? What's he gonna do? That counter is such a deterrent. Trust me on this one. Now, moving on to the next part. So hopefully you guys are picking up on this and seeing how detrimental it can be to R.Mika. This is where it becomes a tremendous problem, because where we are in the corner right now, once you land the Brimstone, the majority of setups you do, the meaties you go for, like I said, they're throws or they're mids, just like I said in general. But this is where it becomes a huge problem. So I should have, oh no, I've got the low variant on, so let me double check. I've got the mid. Yes, this is the mid. So I'm going to go for a basic setup. So I'm going to do a meaty forward fierce. So first off, let's do this. So if I go for a meaty forward fierce, Lady Mika, I get the crush counter, right? That's against the button. So by doing that, this time around, if you're not thinking about it, right, and you go for this setup, you get a counter, 240 damage, and you get side switch. So now you're put in the corner. So what's happened here is you've gone from earning the positional advantage, trapping Kolin in the corner, to now being trapped in the corner, and you lost a tremendous amount of health in the process. And this is where Kolin can really shine, because the shimmy game in the corner is amazing. She doesn't have to whiff as many buttons as she did in mid-screen. This is where her crouching medium punch, her stand medium punch, her standing fierce, her stand lights, her crouch medium kick, they're all good in the corner. And she took a risk to earn this position. Again, let's just show you. Let me do this here. And then you get the side switch. So as you can see, okay, maybe let me switch up, maybe do the meaty crouch medium punch. No go, buddy, because again, side switch in the corner. Okay, maybe meaty crouch light punch. Something's got to work. No, no go. So as you can see, all the mids, this is what happens. This is what you're doing when Kolin has meter. The regular version can still work in this situation as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm just using the best example so you guys can actually see how much of a problem this is. But any mid, any meaty setup you go for that's a mid attack, you got to be conscious of this entire situation, because the entire game can change off that one counter. And then again, even if you switch it up and go for throws, right? I landed the throw there, but again, you've got to be conscious of the fact, what if Kolin goes for that backdash in the corner? If you were being audacious and want to go for that brimstone, what if she backdashes, gets that punish? All right. What if you go for the regular throw, the backdash? Right, she doesn't punish you, but she's like -1 or 2, so it's not too bad. She's still safe, but she can avoid a throw. She's got the double jump option. She can super. She can't really vanity step, because vanity step only works because that's strike invincible. That only works when you're really scared. But you got to take these risks. But there's tons of situations where this can be a huge factor. So hopefully you guys are seeing the picture, or have seen the picture, to how much or how detrimental Kolin's counter can be. Like I said, all variants of the counter will be used in this matchup. So the high version, the mid version, and the low version. But the low version has the lowest success rate, because there's only 1 or 2 situations where Mika is legitimately going to go for a meaty crouching light kick. The rest of the setups you're going to go for are either meaty throws or a meaty mid attack, and that's where the counter comes in. If you face a Kolin player that doesn't really use the counters, then they don't really know the matchup. But I had a set recently with fellow commentator of mine. Shoutouts to Tyrant UK. We had a set online where I'm not going to tell you the outcome of it. You guys can watch it. But it was an annoying matchup for me. But I'll leave the video link to that in the description. You guys can go and check that out and see how it pans out, or how much the counter plays a big part in that matchup there. But yeah, enough about me rambling on, because I was pretty much repeating the same point 4 times, but just showing you various different scenarios. What is the counter to this? The counter is you've got to mix up your options and be very aware of each and every situation that Kolin can potentially use the counter, as well as sometimes you're just going to have to commit. There is no real counter to this, because anytime you try to delay something, Kolin might do a delayed button or reversal button or delayed tech, backdash, etc. She's got the options to escape, you got the options to apply offense, but the counter can nullify all of that and your mindset once it connects. Alright, so that's going to be it for the end of the video. So hopefully you guys have found this helpful and insightful. I'm going to leave the necessary information regarding this aspect of the matchup in the description below, so you guys can go in the lab yourselves, just experience it yourselves, and get a deeper understanding as to why a lot of Mika players do not like this matchup. That counter, a legitimate reversal, not an invincible one, a legitimate reversal, can change the tide of battle in so many areas for Kolin and put Mika in a very perilous spot. However, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you did enjoy this video, then you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. My following social media outlets will be in the description below, my Twitter and my Twitch. But yeah, this has been your boy HC Jammers. I think this will be the last video I'm going to be doing for about a week or 2, because the Christmas holidays are coming up. But yeah, there's plenty of information on this channel about Mika, and Season 4 is right around the corner. But we're going to be getting some stuff sorted over the holidays. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been your boy HC Jammers, and I'll see you guys next time. So until then, take care.